Okay, so tell me this. Have you ever been to Disney? Or maybe not to Disney World or Disneyland. Have you ever been to any kind of amusement park? Or better yet, been to any I know some of you all like nature. Have you ever been to like nature? And you're at one of those parks and the parks have those big giant maps that you can look at to see where you are? And then you're kind of lost and you're kind of just starting like, where do we start? And you're kind of looking for the starting. And then you find where you're at. And then you also find where you want to go. Like, let's take this trail. Or in Disney, you find, oh, there's the Magic Kingdom. Let's go, we're going to go this way. And then after about maybe 20 or 30 minutes, after a bunch of little paths and splitting the roads, you kind of like find yourself asking like this same question of like, wait, where are we? Like that's like just that in general is how I feel so many times. And I know if I feel that way, I know a lot of people can feel that way. And it's just because sometimes we have to just recheck to make sure we're on the right path. It's not that we're wrong or that we're lost, but just like, we've had a lot of splits in the road and we just want to make sure that we're still heading in the right direction. If you've ever been to a lot of cities, in the States, all of our roads are pretty much perpendicular and straight and like this. Other places and countries like Mexico City, like just to remember, or if you're in Asia, the roads go like this. So you get off the road just for a few minutes and you're going in a completely different direction. You could have done a U-turn and not even know it. And I say all that because it's not that we're necessarily lost. It's not necessarily that you're lost or that I'm lost. It's just a simple fact of sometimes we just are not sure where we are. And someone who's not sure where they are and someone who is lost, they kind of feel the same way if you think about it. Because you guys hear me talk about correction, like clarity, direction, all these different words, because I believe they're so important. I know a few things about a majority of the people who follow me. I know the majority of the people who follow me want to really have an impact on people. I also know that the people who follow me, a lot of the majority of people who follow me, at least on YouTube, they have big hearts and want to help. But a lot of them don't want to pay. That's not you, but this is a lot of people. They don't want to pay. I also know that sometimes when you don't want to pay for something, you kind of are limited to the free world realm, which is kind of very unorganized. So sometimes you can maybe feel very lost even more in that aspect. I took that aspect for a long time. I attracted those people back in the day when that's exactly how I was. And I say all this because some of you have been feeling lost for a really, really, really long time. Like you're doing a lot of things. That's no one's arguing that. No one's saying that you're not. You're doing a lot of things, but you still don't know where you are. Your driving looks beautiful. The car looks beautiful. You're washing the car. You're taking care of the oil. You're cleaning everything. You're giving strangers a ride and you're taking your friends places. But how many people know that you can still do that and not know where you're going? So what do you do from there? Okay, Luke, all right. Okay, thanks, Luke. Thanks. That kind of hurts. What do you do from here? Where do you want to go? So the last 3 weeks, this is what we've talked about. Every Friday, some of you, people have made it every single time, which I'm so proud of. And I don't think a single person has been to one of these master classes who I knew previously, which I love. Because it means we're tapping into new people, or people who have been there for a while are finally starting to raise their hand and be like, yeah, that's me. And this Friday will be it's the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. It'll be the 8th of September. We're going to have maybe one of the last flash classes, which is like a master class on just getting really clear, with the focus just being on getting clear. And then we're going to start moving into some very interesting subjects, which I know a few of you guys are waiting for because I've talked to some of you guys. And it's an invitation. If you're looking for that clarity, you're looking like, I just need to know some direction, because like I said, we're in the next classes, we're going to be moving forward. You're going to need that information. You're going to need like, okay, this is where I'm going. Let's add a plan to it. Let's see which kind of car we need. What's the vehicle we need? Who can help us? What do we have to wear? What do we have to bring? We're going to start adding that to what's next. But we got to get clear first. And literally, I was thinking about it, I could probably run a master class on getting clear every single week for 52 weeks a year. And it would be beneficial if the same people took it every single week, because we're always changing. And I think that that's something that we always forget, especially you, because you're doing so much and you're learning so much. You're kind of involved in so many different circles. Then you're getting new information and you're learning. And I think the more you're learning, the more you're taking in, the more that you're kind of out there in the world and being exposed to different things, the more it's important to be able to separate what you learn from what you actually need. You get that? Some of you guys are taking in so much, which is great, but just like when you're eating so much, your body takes in what it needs and gets rid of the rest. Some of us are trying to store everything we learn. And we get this like information coma. You know how you get like a food coma? But we get like an information coma of just so much stuff we've just taken in. And okay, what do I do with this? How do I use this? Okay, how is this important to me? How does this apply to me? But it's like if we know what we need, some of you guys, and one of the crazy things, and you all who have been in any of these flash classes, you know, what you think you want has nothing to really do with what you want. Sometimes it does, excuse me. But most of the time what you want isn't the actual thing that you need to focus on. Because sometimes what we want is just something that leads us to what we want. Does that make sense? Like so many things we look at as a problem in our life is actually the symptom of something else. You know, I was with my friend the other week. I was in Mexico City, and I was with a good close friend of mine. And we were talking, and you know, she was like, you know, Luke, you know, I love talking with you, and you know, they're an amazing human. I respect the world out of them. I know very few people like her actually, who does what she does and the way she does it, and so just the way she is. And we were talking, you know, we have these deep talks. You know, you ever have a friend you have deep talks with? And we were just talking about things, and she's just like, Luke, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we met. This is just what I needed. You're like my little morning motivational boost, and I needed this. I needed this wake-up call. And it made me think, the first thing I told her was like, whoa. I was like, motivation? She's like, yeah. You're so motivating to me, and I appreciate it. And I'm like, well, you got to be careful. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, you got to be careful with that. She's like, what, that's not good? I was like, what if I told you motivation was a symptom? And then we got really quiet. We were about to cross the street. We got really quiet. She was like, huh? I was like, yeah. Like, what if motivation is a symptom? Like, you're not necessarily motivated. Something that you love doing and you enjoy doing, you're not motivated to do it. You don't call it motivation. Like if the motivation was there, you'd still go at it 100%. Motivation is a symptom. We're gonna have that. We're gonna have flash tests on that. Don't you all worry. I got you. And she's like, wow. I was like, what's it a symptom? She's like, what's it a symptom of? And I'm like, that's a beautiful question. And I left it on that. You can't answer questions for people. Sometimes you gotta give it to them to let their mind look at things a whole different way. Because so many things are symptoms. We're looking at things that are symptoms. Like you not having money is not a problem. Trust me, I know it might feel like it. I look at myself sometimes in situations like having money is not a problem. Not having money is a symptom of something else. And it's like, well, what is it a symptom of, Lou? Give us well, it depends. Everyone is different. For me, I know at least for me, a lot of times when I look and money in my life is not flowing in the way that I want it to. Not the accumulation part of it, but the flowing in. It's usually because I'm unclear. It's a symptom showing me that I'm unclear. For me in my life, usually it's that I'm unclear of who I want to help. Like I say, most of the people who follow me, they will have big hearts. They want to help a lot of people. But one of my friends, when I lived in France, I lived in a hotel for a couple of my basketball seasons. I decided to live in a hotel because they just had buffets and everything. It was just simpler. So people would clean my room. And one of the people who used to come and clean my room, and I didn't clean my room so much, but they would if I asked them to. But they worked in the restaurant in the hotel. And I saw her every day because I'd sometimes eat there, and I was talking to her, and she was just like, she's like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know. I tell her I'm feeling sad about something. I'm like, I don't know. It kind of feel a little bit empty. She's like, but you're going out and partying all the time, because they see me leaving and coming back super late. I'd be coming home when they're going to work at 6. And I was like, yeah, I was like, I don't know. I know everyone there and like it seems fun, but then it just doesn't. And she's like, well, Luke, and I'll never forget this because she spoke in English to me. One of my few friends who spoke English. At that time, I didn't speak French. She was not too well. She was like, the person who knows everybody knows nobody. And I never forget that. Because it hit my heart. And it hit your heart because it's talking just to you. Because I did know everyone. I knew everyone. I knew the people, from the people who are cleaning the club, to the people who are serving the bottles, to the people who are sitting at the tables ordering the bottles, to the security at the door, the guy who cleans the bathroom, the owner of the clubs. I knew all of them, everybody. I think I lived in that town for 5 years in the south of France. I don't think I ever paid I went out every Thursday, Friday, Saturday for 5 years. I don't think I ever paid a single time to get into any place, no matter what party there was going on. And I never waited in a line. Never. And as I thought about that, I was just like, wow, that's so true. The person who knows everybody knows nobody. Like, it's nice to know a lot, but you gotta have a group of people inside. And I didn't have that. And that can make you feel really lost, even though you have everything around you. And I say that because the people who want to help everybody, at the end of the day, we don't help really kind of anybody. It feels like we're not helping anybody. Because the more we look at everything and the more we do, the person who wants to cut everyone's grass outside looks at his work after him and be like, I didn't do anything today. No matter how many grasses I cut, there's still more left to do than I started off with. So it can be a very frustrating feeling. So it's like getting more clear. And it's a symptom for me. So as I get more clear, like I want to cut all the people's grasses whose homes that I can see from this point right here. And now we can start helping people. And I know for me, I can't remember exactly where I was going with that 100%, but I do know that as I've wanted to, as a symptom I've realized is of me, when I look at my bank account, when I look at different things, when I look at the impact I'm having, it's just because I'm not clear. Like first I wanted to make travel videos, then I wanted to make videos to inspire people, then I wanted to do them both together, then I wanted to make videos that bring people to my coaching, then I wanted to make videos to point people to other people's coaching and other programs that I take that people can take. And then I'm like, no, that didn't work because I told everyone about this program that I was in. It was only like $300. Why wouldn't people take it? Because then I also realized that was a harsh realization for me probably like a year and a half ago, that the majority of the people, at least back then, who were following me, were people who just wanted kind of inspiration and motivation and then just go back to their lives. That's it. They don't want to spend the money to get out of the life that they have now. And for me, that was a very frustrating thing because it was just like, why don't they? That's what I'm creating this stuff for. So I had to stop creating content for them. Like, as much as I love to just create entertaining content, it's not entertaining when people just are still complaining about the same thing. And at the same time, I'm not excited because they're not joining me. They're not joining other things that I talk to them about. People send me very personal emails. Like people have sent me very personal emails, and I've been like, well, you should go check out this person. They're having an event. I'm going to be in it. Do you want me to? You want to go to it with me? You just need to pay this amount. I'll get the other part. No response. Or you should check out this book. It's going to change your life. How'd the book go? I didn't get it yet. And I was just like, wow. Since when did I start attracting these people that just don't want to take the action? And you're like, well, that's kind of how you are sometimes. And I was like, okay. So sometimes you just got to get clear, just being clear, like, okay, that's how I can be. So that's what I'm going to attract. Just simple clarity like that makes all the difference. Because now we can be like, well, who do we want to help? Like, who do we want to serve? How do we want to make an impact? Now we need to ask some deeper questions. And this Friday, we're going to dive into it. We're going to dive into it probably for the last time, for a little bit of time, into clarity, at least as a group. And some of you guys already signed up because we changed last week to this week, even though some of you guys were in the last week one. And I'm excited. I'm excited to share with you to help you get clear on some things. And don't let it just be another thing that you're like, oh, that would be cool, and don't show up. Like, it's totally free. Like, I don't get it, or actually I do get it because people don't really pay attention when things are free. And then at least back in the past with my audience, when you start to charge, people are like, no, I'm okay. And everyone just stays the same. So that's why I stopped really, even trying to help those people. It's just like trying to push I have a ranch here as well, or I have people who have a ranch, put it like that. And we have horses and cows and chickens and bulls and sheep. I'm trying to think of English words. And if they don't want to eat, you're not going to force them to eat. You're not going to push them to eat. You're actually probably going to get hurt, frustrate them, and probably step on the food trying to get them to do it. So that's not fun, and I don't want to do that. So with that being said, all of you guys who are going to be in the class this Friday, I look forward to speaking to you. I look forward to just kind of helping you get clear on some things again. Some of you, like I say, if you were in the last ones, jump in this one again and watch how it's just going to get even more clear. Because as we cut down even more clear, like, okay, I know I don't want to help anyone anymore. Like, I don't want to just do that. I don't want to just make travel content anymore, as some of you were in the last week. It's like, yeah, what do you want to make? Well, I want to create things that help the younger version of me. Boom. And then we gave you something to run with. But now we're going to now come here with that clarity that you have. And let's just chop that down a little bit more. And as the more you can chop it down, the more the person who you want to help, the things you want to do, they just stand out in a field. They stand out in the open. So much more. You know, when I realized, like, oh my gosh, like in my coaching, I worked with the majority client that I have is a 28 to 36 corporate women. That's so weird. That's who I attract. That's who I attract. That's like the majority of my clients. The high ticket clients who have paid me, those are the people they are. And I enjoy it. But I realized, like, I actually want to shift that. Like, I actually want to work with men who want to be more than they are. They know that they can, and yet at the same time, they're just comfortable where they are. And that just took a cutting down for me to realize that. And as I said that, I started to realize all these different men who are struggling with that. You know, I looked at, well, most of the women that I work with didn't have fathers. And most of them were in either relationships that weren't serving them, or they weren't in a relationship at all because they were dealing with problems from the past that still kept them who they were back then. You know, because where your trauma happens, that's where you usually stay. You know, if it happens when you're 19, you just stay a 19-year-old until you get over it. You know, I was a 31-year-old, 19-year-old. You know, so. I realized that, and I was like, I just need to shift that. But where do I want to shift it to? And exactly what I help you all to do is what I created to help me to do. The questions that I asked myself were the questions that we do in the program. And that's why some of you guys have such transformational things, especially that so many of you guys want to travel when that's not really the thing, because that's exactly what I did. So we're going to dive into it. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, don't miss out on this one. Like it's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything. It costs you your time. If you don't like it, join it. If you don't like it in the first 5 minutes, just leave. But like, don't just let it be just another thing that pops up and you just don't do anything. Like, aren't you tired of that? Like, aren't you not tired of it? Like, that has to be so frustrating. Just feeling lost all the time. And having people, opportunities be led to you, and you just see it and you're like, oh yeah, that would be cool. And then never acting on it and finding yourself the next week not liking yourself anymore. Like, when does that ever get old? Like, how long do you want to keep that going for? Because this Friday you have an opportunity to change and you're invited. So with that being said, it's going to be linked below. I'm going to get some actual work done because I got clear on what I have to do for today. And with that, I love you guys. I hope to see you soon. And yeah. Don't let another opportunity pass. That's what I would say. Don't let it pass. And get some fresh air and sun. See ya.